Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and the first question here is, can you shut down the reactor of a nuclear warship with just one button? Any guesses? And the answer is yes, and I know this because Ian wrote me an email. And Ian did service on a US fleet ballistic submarine, and he sent me this image. And here you see young Ian pretending to shut down the nuclear reactor. My captain severely disliked that photo. Yeah, I can imagine. And I wrote back to Ian and I said to him, please tell me that you cannot switch off the reactor like that with one button. And he wrote, you can. But as you can see, my watch hand has opened the hinge switch cover, so it's a two-step process requiring conscious effort. The commercial General Electric's boiling water reactor that I operated for decades had two big red push buttons that had to be pressed together to get the shutdown to occur. Fun times. Yeah, fun times. Those emails are the reason why I always say it's a privilege to run a YouTube channel. Okay, and now let's start with your questions. The first one comes from Ask It. What's an acceptable amount of time to travel to try selling a watch? A guy interested in my Speedmaster was asking if I could meet him a 2.5 hours drive away. So 5 hours drive in total for me just to show him the watch. Gas money? Yeah, a complicated question because I don't know how much time you have to spend, and the other guy, was he legit or was he fishy? Was the price fixed? Was the price not fixed? So very basic informations. But I have a piece of advice for you. Find a nice site in that area. Then you can travel there and you can combine that deal together with a day, with a nice holiday, for example. I've seen this here several times that people took the airplane to come to Hamburg, my hometown, pick up a watch, and then they visited here parks and concerts and other pleasant things. Next question comes from Oscar Gustavo Arcos Ruiz, familiar name again. There are a few movies in which a watch or watches are an important part of the plot. Sometimes just as a status symbol or as a gadget, and sometimes as authentic characters in the plot. Is there a movie watch that you find especially interesting and meaningful? Why? I try to find a creative answer, but I think the simple truth here is the Rolex Submariner showed up in the first Bond movie. This was the 6538. And I think it took product placement on another level, another level. It started the hype around Rolex and infected the entire watch industry in a good way, I think. And so this must be the answer here. And Oscar has a second question. What was Django's watch? Unfortunately unknown. Sometimes you see this stretchy flex golden thing on his wrist, this bracelet. But sometimes he didn't wear a watch. And I think many guitar players, or I know that many guitar players are not really happy with a watch hanging on their wrists when they have to play stuff like Django Reinhardt. And then we have a question from Jim Nipf. All right. Question: why has the average case size gone up over the years from 36mm or so to 40mm? Are people's arms bigger than they used to be? Answer is no, but the watches are more expensive. A luxury watch in the 80s was about, what was it, 2,000, 3,000? Today it's 10,000 and more. And when you spend that kind of money on a watch, then you want people to see it. You want a big watch. I'm wearing the Oris Pico 40mm. You just want to see it. This is not an extremely expensive watch, by the way. It retails around 1,900, I think. Okay, next question comes from Saul YSW. Have you ever used a manual typewriter? If so, which one and what did you feel about it? They are my new hobby at the moment, taken over from watches. Yes, I've bought a typewriter on eBay for €1. I think it was Olympus. Can this be Olympus? I think yes. When I used this hinge and this slide thing, the entire table was shaking and you really need a force to write something on it. I tried it one time and then never more. And I think the thing is, where is it? Good question. But I can see why typewriter fascinate people. The sound is amazing. The sound is really, really great, and the look, and you have a hard time to understand how it actually works. So you have this mechanical fascination, a bit similar to wristwatches, and I think there's the connection, right? Next question comes here from Chris B. Do you think Homage watches, when built to a higher standards than the original, such as some Seiko knockoffs from Hong Kong, become a better watch buy than the originals? Or is it still more desirable to own the original article? Very good question. I mean, there is this debate, and I made a video myself about high-end fakes, but now I really think there could be another trend instead, and this is to micro-brands, towards micro-brands. Everybody nowadays can produce or can manufacture or can order or can assemble a very high-quality product, a very high-quality watch, beyond the quality of known brands like Seiko. And then you put it under the cool, fancy, fresh and new label of a micro brand. And I think this attracts buyers, absolutely, because it's young, it's fresh, something new, and it's, in the eyes of many people, I think, way better than a homage or a fake. And so I personally see this movement as something really positive. Next question comes from The Undertaker. Do you find Archieluxury entertaining? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, because there's this human drama in the series. When I've made this analyzing series, people often said to me, you're not entitled, you're not allowed to speak about other people. And this made me laugh all the time because, I mean, of course we want to speak and hear about other people. I mean, see literature or movies or art, it's about people, not about things. You wouldn't watch this channel if it really was all about things, all about 100% pure watch content. I'm absolutely sure with that. And Archie's the same topic. I mean, he's a character. I'm highly convinced that he plays a character, so this is a drama show. You can see him doing extreme things, and so extreme that you always have the fear that the guy could lose everything, that the guy could drown in misery or something like that. And at the same time, then you see sometimes, or he mentions that he brings his kids to school, you see his bees, and you see some glimpses of normality between those crazy parts. And so you can figure, okay, it's a drama show, but it's damn close to the real personality. And of course, this is entertaining, guys. The next question comes from Zihara, interesting names here all over the page. First, thanks for posting great watch content, thank you very much. I heard on your previous videos that you really like and own Zenith El Primeros. I have a question, how often in practice you need to take it for service, since 36,000 beats per hour can theoretically cause extra wear on the movement? Yes, it can. And I've personally owned 3 Primeros, but I've never kept them over let's say 5 years, and so I'm not very competent to answer that question. But I heard from other people that in fact they need a service every around 7, 8, 9, 10 years in that region. And the problem is that Zenith charges really big money for a service. So you can pay easily 1,000 euros for a service of a watch, which is a bit crazy in my eyes. And this brought me a bit away from the Primeros. But I mean, honestly, if you're in mood to be a bit of a watch flipper for a certain time, why not with El Primeros? Because you can pick them up relatively easy, because everybody is afraid of those service bills here. And they are great watches. They are absolutely great watches. It's possible to buy one for 1,900, 1,800 euros. Then you wear it a year and you can check if you like it, then you flip it again. People in the watch game see this as a mild form of crime, but when you're at the beginning and you want to learn, I mean, why not? Casey Go wants to know, I find myself buying more and more Seiko watches because of affordability, wide range of selection, and reliability as timekeeping tool. How shall I break this habit? I'm afraid I will miss out on other brands' movements if I continue with this trend. Why should you break out there? I mean, if you're happy with your Seiko watches, then why not? And miss out on other things? Of course, we all do. It's called life. If you make decision A, then you will never see the outcome of decision B. Normal behavior. And so really my advice is, if you're happy with your Seiko watches, and as you write, reliability, affordability, wide range, perfect world, and if you're happy in that world, then yeah, good. Hello likes to know, did jazz, oh we're in the music now, did jazz have its own electric Dylan moment? When did the jazz period end? And was it because jazz changed, e.g. is it when it stopped being edgy as white Americans accepted it? Or is it because other genres like rock rose up? Thanks. The answer is rock. The answer is rock and let's say jazz arrogance. If you see videos or footage from the 50s, so the heydays of jazz, the last days of jazz, then you see Miles Davis cool on stage with back to his audience, because he was so cool to play any more real shows for his audience. And then the audience, I think, went to an Elvis Presley concert. And I think the end of the jazz era came well-earned, I think, well-earned, because some of those jazz pieces from the 50s, it's so, I shouldn't say annoying, but those pieces are the reason why I always say, or often say, I'm a swing guitar player, not a jazz guitar player, because it was Gilles, what a name. Gilles likes to know, is the Zeppelin brand any good? Sharply priced for sure. If you don't know Zeppelin, it's a German brand, came after Junkers, I think, and it's also produced by Pointec, which is a well-known company for watch parts and watch assembly and everything. And my answer here is yes, you can buy those products. I mean, it's generic as hell. Zeppelin, this is not a brand with heritage or tradition. No, it's just, let's say, a design concept. But if you like the watches, if you like the look, if you like the design, if you like the prices, then you can buy them, absolutely. It's made in Germany, it has good quality, and so no problem. Jose F. Gonzalez likes to know, what's the story with the blue skull? And what's your Spanish level? Oh, my Spanish level. I've said this before, the skull is only a giveaway from Mexico or a souvenir. My girlfriend brought from Mexico, gifted it to me. I think I had 3 or 4. The kid ruined 2. And I like the colors and the look, but there's not a really a meaning to it. And my Spanish level is not in existence. I speak Portuguese because some of my family members come from Brazil, and we speak Brazilian here in the house, and I always think, oh, pretty basic your level there. But then I meet a guy from Portugal or Brazil, and I can have a pretty normal conversation, and so I think it's okay. And I can read Spanish, and I can talk with Spanish people. This is funny sometimes when I speak very slowly and they speak very slowly, and we both are willing to have a conversation. Then it works, but there's not really a level. Next question comes from Michael Bedford, also a very familiar name. As gravity is merely a function of the space-time continuum, could you adjust your watch so it weighed nothing, cheaper than titanium? No. Can anybody else answer this question in the comments, please? Michael, man, I have no idea what you're talking about here. It's an interesting question, I think, but I don't get it. Next question comes from Pascal Lears. Just a fun question. With the next James Bond movie finally hitting the cinema this year, what gadget would you like Q to build in a watch? And what watch model would it be? I think it would be an universal door opener for every door on the planet, implemented in a dive watch made by Oris. And now comes Steve Fox, also a familiar name. If you were given 5K, would you be looking for a new watch or guitar? An example of each, please. I don't know. I'm happy with my guitar, actually. I've bought it last year. I'm very happy with it, and I'm very happy with my watch collection. And to be honest, people send me watches for reviews, and so there's constant rotation here. And tough question. I think I would spend another 10, and then I had 15 because I want to buy a cruise. I was once on a millionaire's yacht called the Sea Cloud from the 20s, and it's a marvelous white sailing ship. 40 passengers, 40 members of the crew, and I was there 8 days in a very, very fine cabin, and the price for the cabin was 1,000 euros per day. I had a bit of a deal with the company, with the shipping company, but now I'm with a family and I'd love to return on that ship, but I think you really need your 15K, and so I would take this as a starting capital. And now we have Evan here. And he likes to know, what do you think of Certina? They got overlooked a lot, but to me they seem like a budget Longines. Yeah, 100% correct, I think. I had several times the plan to make a video about Certina, because people always say underrated but good watches. But then I see a Certina and I always think this watch looks like a prop for a window in a mediocre shopping mall. And so, no. And now we have a question from Dark MSO. What does this mean? Dark MSO. Will the Rolex hype end? How will it end? And what could happen after it? And there was an excellent edition by Michael Bedford. And Michael wrote here, I may be talking bollocks here, but as far as I know, they got a huge boost because the Google algorithm knew that Rolex was the most known watch brand, even amongst people who'd never worn a watch in their lives. So vlogs that mentioned them got preferment. And I second that. I said it in the video that the hype feeds the hype. And this is what's happening here. And that's the reason why you see more and more videos about Rolex, why you see more and more SEO content, so search engine optimized videos. And optimized means we make a video only around the keyword. And you can see this, for example, if you have something like comparison between Rolex model such and Omega model such and such. Then they try to put the most valuable keywords in one video title, and you find many channels built around that strategy. And does it still work? This is a bit of a question, because when everybody puts Rolex in the title, then everybody has to share the audience with other people who do the same strategy. And so I think this will come to an end. But I said this, I think, 2 years ago, and it was completely incorrect. But despite that, I still believe that every trend on this globe come to an end. On the other hand, you see then brands like Mercedes-Benz or something like that. Mercedes was seen as a luxury car brand in the 30s, I think, and they're still seen as a luxury car brand. And so, but then tells you little Satan, people want something fresh from time to time, and so everything must come to an end. But then comes Mercedes and other brands, and yeah, confused host, no. And here we have another well-known gentleman, the famous Luca Bergamasco, and he likes to know, what's your procedure to record your guitar self-duets? By the way, I have recorded one piece for this video, very interesting, old tune, and the chords are just brutal. I've never seen something like that. If you play the guitar, then check out this here. And Luca continues here, do you play the rhythm part before or the solo part? What's playing in your headphones when you are recording each part? Easy answer, I do the rhythm section first with a click track. You could do it without a click track, but it's the standard to do it with, so that everything's tight. And then I put myself the recorded rhythm track on my headphones to play the solo part. And the reason for this is simple. Imagine you have the rhythm track all in the room, and then you play in a microphone your guitar. Then you have your guitar signal mixed with a rhythm track, and you don't want that. You want to have a clean signal for the guitar and a clean rhythm track so that you can mix it properly together. And by the way, every time you see on YouTube somebody playing the guitar together with other instruments, and you cannot see a microphone and you cannot see headphones, then you see a playback. Next question comes from Konsaliki. Is there any particular person besides Django that helped you develop your sense of style? Movie stars like Cary Grant, authors like Bernhard Rötzel, pretty close. In fact, I've studied Alan Flusser, Dressing the Man, and I watched tons of TV shows with movie stars. I watched Mad Men, for example, and Boardwalk Empire several times, or several episodes several times, because I was completely blown away by the wardrobe and the style of some characters there. I mean, Roger Sterling, any more questions? And so it's a mixture of that plus inspirations by platforms like Pinterest. Last question, we're coming to the last question here by Phil. Do you follow a certain philosophy in your way to collect? If yes, which one? I wouldn't call it a philosophy. This is a bit too high, I think. But yes, there is something. It's hard to explain. I see more context than a single item, than a single watch. I see, for example, a film, okay? Riviera, 60s, France. And then I see those jackets in blue and white, and I see canvas on wrist, and then I thought, wait a second, we're close to the summer, and you know this bar or this beach, and you like to visit it, and you have a linen jacket, but maybe you need a blue NATO, and on the blue NATO something like the Nomos Club or something like that. And so I have an initial idea for a setting and characters, a site, a region, and then I come to the watch. And I feel now very comfortable with my collection because I have a watch for every situation in my life, basically. And I've said this before, I see watches more as garments than as technically important items, to be honest. Although I enjoy complications, but the overall style and look and the context is, in my case, more important. Okay, those were your questions. Thank you very much for your participation in this video. Brilliant questions sometimes, really interesting, and I've learned a lot, as always, in these Q&A videos. Some of them were really tough, and really tough as well as the following song, because it has to be played with ease, and this is the most difficult thing you can do. So, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy my Serenade, and until next time. Bye.